Welcome along to Sportsbet TV with me, Paul Alster. I am looking ahead to Saturday, the 29th of April, as the jumps season in Britain comes to an end at Sandown Park, and there's lots of great racing at Punchestown as well. And there's also some very good racing on the flat. I've got two selections for you, one of them at Punchestown, and the other one is actually at Ripon. So I'm not going to Sandown Park. Didn't really get a handle on that particular meeting. If you're joining me for the first time, please press the subscribe button. You'll find that all my tips on Sportsbet are free. And I'm always looking for horses available at good, solid each way and even big, tasty each way prices. Now, I gave you a couple of selections last weekend, and we only got one runner in the end because Wait and See was a non-runner in the Scottish National. And the other horse that I put up for you was Brunch, who ran disappointingly, it has to be said, at Newbury, appearing to struggle on the ground, even though in the past he's relished it. So Brunch, I'm afraid, didn't serve anything up for us last Saturday. But overall, we're still a little way ahead for April, and hopefully we'll end the month even more ahead with my two selections that I hope will run really well on Saturday. Now, let me take you to the first of them. It's at Punchestown, Saturday afternoon, the last day of the 5-day Punchestown Festival meeting. And it is the 3:10. It's 3 miles, 7 furlongs. The race is the BMW Colquhoun Handicap Chase. Now, the going's good to yielding. It's been drying out over the course of the third and fourth days. It'll be interesting to see what the ground is on Saturday, because they are expecting rain, I think, Friday evening into Saturday. And by the way, I'm recording this message for you Thursday early evening at just after 6 o'clock. Well, 16 runners have been declared, and as long-distance handicap chases go, this one is just about as big a puzzle as you're likely to find, with none of the runners really proven over this particular marathon trip, and with no betting to guide me at the time of this recording. That only rather adds to the puzzle. My guess is that among the market principals will be the likes of My Design for Declan Quealy, who ran really well over 3.5 miles at Downpatrick 4 weeks ago when second in the Ulster National, not the Alster National, the Ulster National, off a £2 lower mark. Now, she saw out the trip really well, and she's among a number of mares who I think have a proper chance in this race. Now, of course, Punchestown being Punchestown, and Irish racing and British racing being British racing, you can't leave out Willie Mullins. And he relies on the lightly raced 10-year-old A1, who returned to winning ways at Cork 3 weeks ago in a 2-mile 4 furlong conditions chase on ground that is similar to that anticipated on Saturday. Whether he'll prove as effective, who knows, he may be even better over the extra 11 furlongs, remains to be seen, but he's certainly attractively weighted, and he's got Danny Mullins up under just 10 stone 11 pounds. Now, Robert Tyner's Sir Bob is a pound out of the handicap, but still runs off just 10 stone here. He has to be respected for JP McManus. He won over 3 miles 1 furlong at Punchestown in December, so goes well here. And just shortly after that, 10 days later, he won again at Limerick. And last time out, he ran well at Fairyhouse when he was second to Max Charm. And that suggests that he's holding his form. And once again, he may not be far away if he stays. Now, Fairy Hell Run is trained by John Ryan, whose Wait and See was a non-runner for us last weekend in Scotland. Hopefully she will run, first of all. She's a mare who seems almost certain to see out the trip, having run twice very well indeed in the 3-mile 5 furlong Porterstown Handicap Chase at Fairyhouse. She was pulled up in the Irish National last time, but the better ground here, I think, will help her. And she's no forlorn hope, I'd say, with Liam Quinlan up, and he's going to claim a really valuable £5. Now, I think it'll take a big effort for either the top weights Velvet Elvis or Enjoy Dalen to bounce back quickly after their exertions in the Grand National at Aintree 2 weeks ago, in which Velvet Elvis pulled up just after halfway, and Enjoy Dalen kept going all the way to the finish 12th of the 39 behind Corach Rambler. He had a hard race. And then we've got the British raider, who's interesting here, Cursorin for John Joe O'Neill, a winner over 3 miles at Newbury in a novices handicap chase in February. And that was prior to pulling up last time out in the Kim Muir at Cheltenham 6 weeks ago. But I think the testing ground may well have had something to do with that. So it wouldn't be the biggest surprise in the world to see John Joe's charge, Cursorin, go really well on the better ground. And that now brings me to my selection here. And I do think this race is truly wide open. So the each way choice is Pat Fahey's History of Fashion. Now, this is a 9-year-old gelding. It's only won once from 21 career starts on the rules, so you'd hardly say it has a brilliant strike rate. But I believe it's got a real chance at the weights if everything falls into place on Saturday afternoon, because his only success came in a Down Royal 3-mile handicap chase. That was in January of 2022, where he looked a real thorough stayer. And then he was duly the subject of a gamble next time out when only 6-1 for the 4-mile 1 furlong Ida Chase at Newcastle. So they obviously connections felt that the real stamina sapping trip was going to suit him. But unfortunately for those that punted him that day, he got no further than the 6th fence when he unseated his rider. So there's a few groans there and burnt fingers. His following start, though, after that did see him do better. He was third in a really hot 3-mile novice handicap chase final at Navan in March of last year, where he was beaten 6 lengths by Velvet Elvis, with whom he is now £18 better off for those 6 lengths, and that's a big pull in the weights. Now, admittedly, he pulled up on his final 2 starts last term, and this season he's dropped down the weights after failing to complete on 3 of his 6 runs, but, and this is a big but, he ran really well last time out. Definite signs of a return to form, I thought, when he was second to the useful Espinito Bello in the Leinster National at Naas. Now, he's been given 7 weeks to recover, so I think should be fresh now and well, and I think the ground conditions will suit him. And with Philip Enright on board, I fancy History of Fashion to go well. Now, it's really hard to estimate this market, so I'm suggesting very tentatively that he might be around a 14-1 shot each way. We'll have to wait and see, and I expect they'll be betting at least 5 places, probably 6, with a few of the firms. So that is my choice, History of Fashion, each way in the Punchestown 310 race, and let's hope it gives us a proper run for our money. Now, of course, I'm sure many of you already know that I'm tipping regularly. Indeed, all through the week I've been tipping for my subscribers at my subscription service at Out in Front. And if you want to join in the fun, and things have been going pretty well of late, here's a few clues about how to get involved. Cracking chance. I thought so when he was a 20-1 shot. He's now 28-1. Favour is the one I think could really come up that hill, and wouldn't it be wonderful if he did run well at those very big odds? that's out in front. Do take a look and check the link just below this very screen. Now, for my second free bet here at Sportsbet for Saturday, I'm taking you to Ripon, the lovely garden racecourse up there in North Yorkshire. And the 4:10 race is a really trappy 5-furlong event. It's called the Ripon Sprint Silver Trophy Handicap. Now, they're forecasting soft, good to soft in places, and there are 10 runners, most of which are really well-known old stagers. Now, Tim Easterby, who trains in Yorkshire, teamed up to win the inaugural running of this race 12 months ago, and that was with Avogo Joe. And he's back for more with the veteran bottom-weight Copper Knight, who ran with plenty of zest when he was fourth on his return at Pontefract earlier in the month. I don't think he'll be at all far away. I've just got a sneaky suspicion, though, that they might be getting him ready for a crack at the Chester May meeting in a couple of weeks' time, where he goes particularly well. Easterby also runs Hyper Focus, who shaped as though he needed the outing on his return at Doncaster 4 weeks ago, and he remains £8 above his last winning mark. So as a 9-year-old, I think he's probably got a tough task at the weights. Now, I'm very much expecting that Richard Fahey's Vintage Clarets will start favourite after an eye-catching first run back. And that was when an unlucky in running second at Musselburgh. That was just 3 weeks ago. On his day, he's a capable sprinter, and with that outing under his belt, I think he looks sure to be bang there off the same mark. Indeed, he could very well be the one they all have to beat, Vintage Clarets, but I suspect he won't be any great value. Now, Kevin Ryan's Last Crusader is interesting, wearing a first-time visor in the hope of sparking him back to some sort of form. This horse was useful at this time last year. He won a 5-furlong listed event at York at their May meeting, and then he really lost his way after that, although it does have to be said he faced a lot of very stiff tasks in group company. He's had a 10-week break, so that might well have done him good. So do look out for any market moves. He's also fallen £9 down the weights as a result of his struggles at the end of last season. Now, most of the others would have a chance if things drop their way, but my choice here is the Grant Tuer-trained Illusionist, who only ran twice last season, so obviously had 1 or 2 training issues. Now, 3 of his 4 career wins have come at this minimum trip. It's his optimum trip, and he's ideally suited by good to soft ground. And so with both those factors in his favour, I believe he really is worth a second glance. He won first time out last season. That was at York at their May meeting in a really hot handicap over 5 furlongs off 88. And his only other run was in July, so he got a couple of months to recover from that, where he ran very well indeed to finish 4th of 14 off a mark of 92 in the ultra-competitive Gosforth Park Cup. And that was at Newcastle's Northumberland Plate fixture, on the all-weather, of course, as it is nowadays. So as I mentioned, he hasn't been seen since. Obviously, that is a slight concern, and undoubtedly he did meet with some sort of a niggling setback. But the fact he's won first time out last season seemed to suggest that he does go well fresh. And I think he's worth chancing because I thought last term he was the type of horse that had a progressive profile and kind of hinted that there was going to be more to come. Now, he's drawn in stall 2, which I think may also help, because if you watch racing at Ripon last week, you'll have noticed that in the sprint, the horses that were drawn low and went across to the far side had a 4 or 5 length advantage. So whether that is the same once again remains to be seen. But I think the stall 2 draw is no negative factor. And on Hill's early prices, the only ones to go up early as of Thursday tea time, odds of 8 to 1 are available each way for Illusionist. And I expect some firms will be going up once the betting really starts to take shape and offering 4 places to drum up a little business, to bang the drum, so to speak. So Illusionist, my choice, 8 to 1 each way. Hopefully he may even go bigger for the 4:10 race at Ripon. And that is my second selection for Saturday here at Sportsbet. Remember to check out in front, and don't forget as well, I'll be back next week where we're really excited about the weekend action, because of course it's going to be the Guineas weekend and there's going to be some fantastic racing on the Rowley Mile, and I'm really looking forward to getting really stuck into some good racing, and I'll have probably more selections than usual for next weekend. So join me, Paul Alster, next time, but enjoy this weekend's fair. Bye-bye for now.